You see, this temple work was to start. So this is sea area. Every building has piling. You know the piling? It goes 30 feet, 35 feet below the ground. So I said to Guruji that we must piling in this land to build the temple. Guruji suddenly said that no piling is required in our land. After that, we called the soil specialist who test the soil, and he also given the report, the piling is must required for this land. Then we called another engineer. He also said the piling is must required. He also discussed with Guruji, but Guruji said no, piling is not required in our land. So Guruji said you can test the soil by a boring machine. So I called one boring wala. When the boring went 5 feet, the boring book cannot pull out. So then Guruji said, you dig the land. And we dig the land, and you see the sand and the stone just melt up and put a very hard stone. Then I called that soil testing engineer, that he said, you can build 8-story building here, no fear, no dangerous. When I took the darshan of Radha Ras Bihari, Madhuvisa told me that just now Prabhupada ji came from America, so you can take darshan from him. So he took me to Prabhupada, and I take darshan of Prabhupada. And Prabhupada questioned to me that, what are you working? I told, as Prabhu, I am getting up early in the morning, taking 1 cup of tea, and then go to bathroom, and that to my business. Then Prabhupada ji suddenly said that what is difference between you and a pig? He is also eating, he has a children, and just like you, but you are not chanting Mahamantra or Krishna name. So I said that, Prabhupada, I have not got such a relation to the satsang that I have no habit of this. Then Prabhupada ji suddenly called Madhuvisa and asked me where you're staying. I said that I am staying at Goregaon. So Prabhupada ji ordered to Madhuvisa that every Sunday after the Mangal Aarti, you all devotee go to the Sethi's house and do the Nagar Sankirtan there, that he must get association with you and he will be a devotee. So for 1 year, all devotees are coming to my house every Sunday, and we are doing Nagar Sankirtan there, about 10 miles, 15 miles, and then back to my house, and then they take feast there, and then they come back. So by this way, I attached with ISKCON.
I would always make sure, because Pishima trained me like this, that I would always stay very quiet and distant from Srila Prabhupada so I wouldn't disturb him, because so much of the time we would be in direct contact with Srila Prabhupada in his house, doing the cleaning, doing the cooking, bringing him so many things, making his medicines. So I learned to never disturb Prabhupada in any way. But I saw that a lot of the other devotees, they were able to act in a very open manner with Prabhupada, and were always asking him questions and looked like they were joking with him. So I started to think, well, these devotees, they're so much more advanced than me because they get to have a closer relationship with Prabhupada. And I'm such a fool. Here I am, never asking Prabhupada any questions, just doing my service and being very careful not to talk to Prabhupada. So maybe I should start being more friendly with Srila Prabhupada. So one evening, I decided to try it out, and I brought Prabhupada in some sweets, and he immediately saw my change of personality and stopped me right then and there. So the next evening, I knew that I had done the wrong thing, and Prabhupada also let me know immediately that I shouldn't change my mode of service. So the next evening, Prabhupada was sitting in his room with Bhagaji and another god sister, and Prabhupada started talking to them, and he was telling them that he liked my service because I was always silent and hardworking. So Bhagaji immediately came out after talking to Prabhupada. He came here to the kitchen, and he repeated to me what Prabhupada had said, not knowing the plan of action I had tried the night before. So Prabhupada was letting me know through Bhagaji that he appreciated more the fact that I was silent and hardworking in my service instead of trying to become too artificially affectionate with Prabhupada.
So by then it is 1975. He asked me, now you learned so many things, you should go around the world and preach. I said, yes, I'll go. Then I tried to make my passport. Then in the passport required the father name, and I don't know who is supposed to be my father. So I didn't bother. After a month, Prabhupada asked, you are still here. You should go and preach. I said, I'm not getting my passport. He said, why you're not getting your passport? I said, they require my father's name. He said, bring that form. So Aditya was there for secretary typing. She has a form. She typed the whole thing. He said, here, write my name as A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada as your father. And he signed and sealed. And he said, go get your passport. So I went to Sethi. He arranged the passport in 2 days. On third day, I was on the flight to travel the world. Then I think Brahmananda asked him, or Bhagwan, he asked him, Prabhupada, why did you put your name as his father? He said, because I put my father's name as my guru's name in my passport. In Prabhupada's passport, his guru's name was as his father. So he can do that. I did to him. So okay, I accepted. Ever since I have all documents, my father's name is Prabhupada. In my driving license and passport and property, anything we do it.
So I sit here, and Guruji was sitting here, and Guruji said so many Gita shloka, and why are you weeping? Death is nothing. That is only that soul is changing the clothes, just like body, soul is changing the body. Death is nothing. Why you are weeping for that? But you cannot die by this disease because you have to work for temple so much. So I said that doctor says that if you pull out your patas from the neck and the chest, you will be die. Then Guruji said, pull out the patas and throw away from the window. I will see that how you will die. So I pull out the patas and through this window, and Guruji said about 2 hours, and then said, you are not died, you are alive. So you cannot die by this disease. The thing is this, you remember, you have promised to Krishna some time ago. Remember that. So after some minutes, I got that memory that when I came here in Bombay from Pakistan. So I was no house to live. I have no money to work. So I promised to Krishna that Krishna, if you kindly give me one house and 1 lakh rupee, then I will always chant your name. And I said to Guruji, yes, I remember this promise I done to Krishna.